Open YouTube, TikTok, or any social media platform today, and you will notice a strange trend. Everyone is supposedly failing. The downfall of celebrities, the downfall of Hollywood, the downfall of gaming, influencers, entire generations. It seems like every week, someone who was once successful is suddenly being declared finished. A person who was at the top yesterday is now exposed. A company that made one mistake is now dead. A movie that underperformed is now proof that an entire industry is collapsing. But the strange thing is, most of the time, these people, companies and industries are not actually disappearing. They are still successful, they are still making money, they still have millions of fans. So why are we obsessed with creating narratives about failure? Why do we enjoy watching successful people fall? And why has the internet turned every small mistake into a full-blown downfall story? The desire to see successful people fail is not new. Throughout history, societies have always been fascinated by the fall of powerful figures. Ancient civilizations told stories about kings who became arrogant and lost everything. Greek mythology is full of characters destroyed by their own pride. The concept of hubris, excessive confidence leading to downfall, has existed for thousands of years. Why? Because watching someone powerful fall creates a sense of satisfaction. It reminds us that nobody is untouchable. The person at the top can still make mistakes. The person who seems perfect is still human. But the internet has amplified this instinct to an entirely new level. The internet rewards attention, and nothing attracts attention quite like conflict. A title saying everything is fine does not generate the same curiosity as the end of insert name. Negative stories naturally create stronger emotional reaction. There's actually a German word for it. It's called Schadenfreude, the pleasure people feel when seeing someone else's misfortune. This is why online content often follows the same formula. Someone succeeds, they become famous, the audience builds an image of them, then eventually a mistake happens. A bad interview, a controversial opinion, a disappointing project, a business decision that just doesn't work. And suddenly the internet creates a new story. The downfall has begun. One reason is psychological. Seeing successful people struggle can make our own lives feel better by comparison. If someone who has fame, money, or influence is exposed as imperfect, it creates a feeling of equality. Maybe they are not that special. Maybe their success was not deserved. Maybe I am doing better than I thought. It is a way of protecting our own self-esteem. Instead of focusing on improving ourselves, sometimes it is easier to focus on someone else's failure. Because watching someone fall requires no effort. Building our own success does. Another reason this happens is because humans love narratives. We want heroes, villains, we want a beginning, middle, and end. Reality, however, is usually much more complicated. A successful person can make mistakes and still be successful. A company can have a bad year and recover. A movie can fail financially and still have cultural impact. But online, complexity does not perform well. The algorithm prefers simple stories. Good versus bad, winner versus loser, rise versus fall. So a complicated situation becomes they are finished. One of the biggest changes brought by social media is that every small event can become a global conversation. A celebrity makes one awkward comment, a brand releases one unpopular product, a creator uploads one bad video. 10 years ago, these moments might have disappeared within days. Today, they can become endless content. Thousands of videos, millions of views, everyone analyzing the same 5 seconds. The internet has created an economy where exaggeration is profitable. A small mistake becomes the biggest controversy ever. A disappointing release becomes the death of an industry. A temporary decline becomes the end of an era. The language gets bigger and bigger because bigger language gets clicks. Human beings naturally pay more attention to negative information. Our brains evolved to notice threats. A warning was more valuable than good news. If someone said there is danger ahead, you paid attention. If someone said everything is fine, you probably continued walking. Social media platforms understand this. Anger, outrage, and fear generate engagement. A positive video saying this person is doing really well usually creates less reaction than this person is secretly falling. The result is an online environment where negativity appears more common than it actually is. The danger of this trend is that it creates a distorted view of reality. We start believing that everyone is falling, that every industry is dying, that every successful person is secretly a fraud. But reality is usually somewhere in the middle. Hollywood is changing, but it is not disappearing. Gaming has problems, but it is not dead. Influencers face criticism, but many continue growing. The world is not constantly collapsing, it is constantly changing. There is another uncomfortable truth. We enjoy these videos because they make us feel like we understand the world. They give us simple explanations. This person failed because of this one mistake. The industry collapsed because of this one decision. This generation is struggling because of this one reason. But real life is rarely that simple. Success is complicated, failure is complicated. People rise and fall for hundreds of different reasons. Reducing everything to a dramatic headline may be entertaining, but it often removes the truth. The solution is not to ignore criticism. People and companies should be held accountable. Failures should be analyzed. Mistakes should be discussed. But we need to separate genuine decline from internet entertainment. A person losing popularity is not always a downfall. A company adapting is not always a collapse. A controversial moment is not always the end. Sometimes the biggest downfalls only exist because we want them to. The internet has created a strange new form of entertainment. Instead of celebrating success, we often wait for the moment someone falls. Instead of asking, how did they succeed? We ask, when will they fail? Because failure is easier to consume. It creates drama, it creates villains. It makes us feel better about ourselves. But the truth is that most people are not constantly winning or losing. They are simply adapting. The next time you see a headline saying the end of, ask yourself, is this actually happening? Or is it someone just turning a small moment into a bigger story because failure gets more clicks than reality?